came across this post I thought was quite interesting because it's kind of breaking down the difference between certain cultures and how they do it versus how black folks do it. But it says black people, the only people who think is something wrong with living with your parents. That's why other nationalities, the whole house got 800 credit scores, no debt drive, Benzes, and got thousands in the bank. And there was a reply that said some black people make it hard for their kids to stay. Thousands of questions daily, pocket watching, rent them out, constantly increasing, etc. Sometimes you have to choose peace. So I want to get you guys' thoughts about that. You think we got it all wrong? You think that we should be doing it better as a community?
Yeah, I do. I do. In most general cases, you shouldn't put your kids out in the world till they ready. You know what I mean? I mean that emotionally, financially, learned, secure. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's our egos. It's our egos, right? And we don't understand the way we grow up and putting impressions on our children, right? Then they grow up and they think the way they do and act the way they act. Also, not with just you, but the world out there, putting their input in them too, right? A lot of us we look at our kids as competition, right? I think you should, again, as long as your child is being productive in the house and working towards a goal, I honestly believe they should stay until they're ready. And I ain't gonna even say when they're ready, when you believe they're ready. So that's my take on it.
Okay.
I agree because I had no problem with my kids living with me. They had their own apartments and all the other stuff. And my daughter lived with me at one point. Didn't have to pay no bills. Everything's great. But of course, she wanted to be herself and run around, be independent or whatever. So she ends up moving out. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And right now, I'm looking to get something like a 7-bedroom house and have all of us live in the same house. So that's kind of like crazy how y'all brought that up, because I was just talking to my ex-wife about that. Not saying I'm gonna move her in, but when we talk about family stuff, we talk about stuff as a family. So I was telling her there's a possibility that I may get a 7-bedroom house so everybody can have their own space and live in the same house together. Kids, not her.
Yeah, I was just having this conversation with my kinfolk that just came over about like the one way that we need to close the gap is, being in the same household, and so of course other cultures do it. I mean, however, it makes sense. I mean, if you're going to send your kid out and they make all of these decisions that we know that they're not ready for, and then we blame them for them not making the correct decisions. I think that's on us. You never want to push a person out when they're not ready. Now, if they're not abiding by the rules, then that's a different story for me. Like if they cannot, like she said, parents make it hard. Well, yes, it's going to be hard in my household because it's still my household. You're not just going to be able to do whatever you want to do just because you've grown. You know what I'm saying? There are going to be some type of stipulations because you're not going to be disrespectful to me or whatever, a mom or whoever is here. So, however, I think that would be best because I'll tell you this guy that I know, him and his wife, they have his son living with him, and he's been able to stack his bread and be able to buy him a house and be ready for his family because he was able to stay. And I think he didn't leave till like he was maybe like 30, 31, and now he's ready with his family. And it's harder. Everybody knows it's harder to do things and build things by yourself. And so and everybody knows that you need some help. And so I know for me, I'm gonna have my kids stay with me until I feel like they're ready to move on.
Yeah, that might. I guess you got to be real careful about when that time is. I think as parents, there's a lot of parents that didn't do the teaching at an early age. So once you get to that midpoint and on, it's like like what do you do at that point? Because by that time they've already set a groove into how they're gonna be as an adult already, and you can just hope for the best at that point. So I think one of the messages we should be putting out there for new parents or parents that have toddlers under the age of 5 is making sure that we correct whatever behavior that we were brought up, or at least some of us, because some parents did it right, but other parents are still not getting it right. So I think that we should definitely be preaching the message of teaching kids under the age of 5 and trying to teach them to be better than how we were. If our parents didn't do it, then it's up to us to make sure that we be able to provide an environment that encourages growth at an early age. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think part of the reason is that, especially us as a community, we don't have kids intentionally. I think is a great way to put that. A lot of our kids come on accident. So when that's the case, there's kind of a rush for me to do my duty and get your ass up out my house. Lord God, I can't wait. Graduation coming. Whoo, get these kids out of here. Because it done been that type of mindset throughout the whole, having of the child and raising the child, because you was never prepared to have a child. Other cultures, they intentionally have kids. Hey, let's get married. I see myself having 3 kids. We where we need to be. Okay, let's start having them. Let's try to get pregnant. You don't really hear black couples and black families saying, hey, let's try to get pregnant. That's not it's just like, oh shit, oops, I'm pregnant. Now let's scramble and do what we got to do to take care of the child. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes with that being the case, we don't prepare the child for the world the way that they should be. We're going to be honest. A lot of us don't even have that outside knowledge too. I say all the time, I'm the first in my family to go to college and graduate. So what that means is that once I left the house, I had to learn everything on my own in terms of that world. I didn't have no parent to sit me down and say, hey, this is how, interest works on these school loans. Hey, well, when you're in school, it would be best for you to get a job, because when you get out, the interest rate on those loans, 7.6, 5.8, whatever, and they, flexible. Incurring, flexible, things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? So, we have people that tell, hey, man, you go to get to college, man, you get a refund check, man. Y'all better go get that refund check. So, again, a lot of the kids coming from a black community is not prepared to be in the world. So I think as parents, we got to do a better job, of preparing them for that. And that's going to start with us actually going out there and living the right way, not check to check, not, robbing Peter to pay Paul, not none of that shit, but going out there and actually accomplishing things and setting a legitimate guideline for our kids to follow. And that way we can teach them in that way and they'll be better prepared. But if we don't, then we're going to just keep scrambling the same way we always been and pushing our kids out into the world before they ready to be there, so we could go get the years back that they took from us. I just leave that there.
And I want to say this because this could help the parents who have young kids. My oldest daughter said, Daddy, you never taught us about credit. And I'm like, I did. There was this guy, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him. His name was Clark Howard. And he was on the radio like literally every day talking about credit and all that stuff. And I used to drive trucks a long time ago, and I listened to him every day. And I would turn my kids on to him, like, listen to this guy, listen to this guy, listen to this guy. And of course, they don't want to listen. So I'm like, I thought they were listening, put the little headphones on and listen. They weren't listening, never listened to the guy. And I was like, so all this time, y'all weren't listening to this guy because I kept telling. They was like, no. I said, well, I tried to teach y'all. But if I didn't know they weren't learning about credit through him, because he knew more about me back then. I didn't know much about credit back when I was younger. I would have to communicate with your kids and find out what they actually, because what she said was, this dude, they wanted to learn from me, but I was learning from the dude, and I could have taught them what he was teaching me, but I didn't know they were not learning from him. So out of miscommunication, I had to start while they was older to teaching them about credit instead of when they were younger.
What are your thoughts about it, King and Shan? Shan, did you see the video?
No, I'll sit out on this one.
All right. I mean, starting Shan.
Say again?
It's starting already. Gonna find you in the chat, huh?
Nah, I'm not in the chat. Mr. Lego, so do you ultimately take responsibility for not teaching your children the credit? Ultimately?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, I thought I was doing the right thing by giving them an asset that I was utilizing at the time. And
but you never quizzed. You never quizzed. You never got feedback from them. You hit the play button and you were over there learning and taking notes yourself. And then you never said, "Hey, what do you think about that?" in the back seat
You
or
are right.
wherever they listen to it. You never said, you never said, "Hey, did you hear what he said? Let's play that back." You didn't even do. You did no follow up. You did no follow up, no feedback. So
I did follow up, and I would ask them, "Did they listen?" They'll lie. They was lying and say they'll listen because they didn't want to listen. So, but I did not quiz them though. So you're right about that. I could have sat them down and start quizzing them about how to do this and how to do that or whatever. But I was steady just in my own world trying to figure this stuff out.
You was
myself,
learning too, right?
Because I was learning too. Right. So it was like, and when I was learning, it was when I was in the truck driving. I'm at work or whatever. So I'm listening and stuff. So I'm telling my kids to listen or whatever. So I'm thinking we listen to the same thing, and I'm in my own world. So you get home, you talk about other stuff, but you're right. I could have sat down and quizzed them. All right, so let's talk about what he said yesterday. Then I would have been like, oh, so y'all didn't listen. And then I would have been able to nip in the butt. So 1,000%, you're right.
Just to add on to that, to add on that to what you're saying, when you're doing that, don't give them answers. One of the things that you want to do is ask them, what's your takeaway, or what is it that you got from it? I do that with my kids when we do Bible study, and you'll be able to find out what it is where their holes are, or if they actually were paying attention. So don't give them the answers.
All right, go ahead, Rio.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, until you achieve financial stability and adequate life skills, I think, honestly, that's a no-brainer. Unfortunately, it's not so popular in our culture. I think, one, because I don't know if we always have healthy relationships with our parents. So sometimes it's like your sanity, their sanity. Let's just part ways when I'm of age, and we can have a better relationship from a distance. Unfortunately, I think that's just the way it is in a lot of cases. How do we fix that? I don't know, but that's just the reality. And also, just to take it a step further, I think, I don't know, promoting that mindset. Man, it's like it's an issue if you stay at your parents' house too long. In the dating world and in your sphere, what's wrong with you? Why are you still at home? Kind of thing. So I think just changing our mindset as a whole, and developing some comfortability and understanding of why we're doing it, and not that we're a bum that can't get off a PlayStation, but we actually have a goal in mind and something that we want to achieve. So,
well, kind of like what Shannon just said. It has to be a system involved while you staying at home. Like, what are we doing? Like, don't just let your kids just live there. Like, quiz them, find out what they're doing, and sit back and say, okay, so what's the plan? Like, where are you doing? What are you doing? Is it college? Is it YouTube videos? Like, what do you want to do with your life? Give something a try, because you don't know, but try something, whatever, because if you fall on your butt, you at home or whatever. So go get in investments, crypto, whatever. Go do something stupid, because Gary V always said, when you're like in your 20s, that's when it's time to go do stupid shit. Go take all the money you own and put it in crypto and just sit on it, see what happens. Go travel, go do something that, you might lose out on, like lose money or whatever, because you're so young, you'll be able to get it right back. So go do some stupid shit, not go to jail, but go do some stupid shit. Take risks, because you're so young, especially if you stay with your parents, you ain't got nothing to lose. Don't wait until you go out, have kids and all the other stuff. Now it's hard for you to take risk. So yeah, but it has to be some type of system. You can't just be sitting at my house, living in my house. Go take some risks. This is an opportunity. Go do something that you could turn around and lose everything on. Go buy some real estate. And if it something. Go try to flip a house. I don't care. Just do something. Because the worst case scenario, you ain't got to pay no bills. So it ain't going to blow up in your face.
Go ahead, Humble Dad. You was about to say something?
I was just saying, would you say that that's for the girls and the boys? The reason why I asked is because I'm remembering when Shaq was being interviewed, he said that his girls can stay as long as they want to, but the sons got to get out immediately when they turn 18. What's your thoughts on, like, would you let your sons and your daughters stay, or just your girls?
I got daughters, so I don't know. I would have, of course, more fire up under my son's butts to actually go do something. But I don't know if I would just, I'm not going to kick nobody out, but it'd be like, what do you want to do? You know, and if I had a lazy ass son and he's just like, I don't want to do nothing. He just want to sit around and play video games and stuff. That would be an issue, you know? And I wouldn't put him out, but there would had to be some conversations because he's a man. So it is a difference, but I got daughters, so I never had to deal with that.
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and answer this. That's a great question as far as with the daughters, because I don't think you want to put the daughters out. So I have one daughter, and I wouldn't put her out on the street for her just to live. But my son, I do have a 17-year-old son, and he's at that point. He's a senior, and I'm at his ass like, what are you gonna do? Because you're not gonna sit your ass up in his house and not do nothing. So the plan is for him to be able to go to college, but I'm trying to create a way for him to be able to have a scholarship, something to be able to provide the opportunity to get the experience. I'm not going to force him to go to college, but I would like for him to go to college, but not to go to college and get in debt. Just like Trill, I was one of the first people in my family to go to college. So when I went, I didn't know nothing. I was one of those people that was I was looking forward to the refund checks. Didn't even really realize how that shit would bite me on the ass on the back end. All I was concerned about was getting the check, because the minute you move off campus, then you got to check for the room and board. And so I would take those checks and I would jag them. I was going and getting computer monitors up off of my school credit, and I was reselling them just so I can get the cash. So I was doing all type of stupid shit. I had no idea. Now I'm stuck with this damn loan. It's not a huge loan. It's not compared to some of the other people's loans that they got to pay back. I'm like, damn, like shit. I wouldn't even have went to school. I wouldn't even have went to grad school. You're paying that much and you ain't making no money. So, but my son, he got to do something. He can't sit his ass up in the crib and thinking he's just ain't gonna do shit. I don't
What
know.
about YouTube videos? Nothing? No?
I'm not against it, but you have to be doing something. You know, like I've mentioned it to him right now. He has that mentality where I ain't gonna even say all that shit, man. But he just got to get on the right page.
I think it'd be dope if he came up on King Talk or whatever and talked like as your son, just as an example. You know what I'm saying? And speaking from a millennial's perspective on all the other stuff, just as an example. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, like I've extended an opportunity and tried to show him the way as far as with that, but he think that shit is corny. But it might be a great idea. Maybe I might bring him up here to see how he do. You know, put his ass to the fire, man. But you can't be talking all that spitting on shit, man. When he come up, we gotta have a different type of conversation, man. But I try to tell it because he see what I do and he see how I do it, man. But it's just they had a lazy mentality. They want the easy way. They don't want to work. I won't say they, but my son in particular needs to get with the program and understand you're gonna have to work to do this shit, man. Like ain't nothing in life easy. And that's what I try to tell him. But you got to at least start. But come May, June, whenever he graduate, if you ain't doing nothing productive, man, I'm about to kick his ass out.
Man, get that man on YouTube, show him some of these YouTube checks, and get him in front of some books, like whatever it is he want to learn how to do, and start getting on YouTube and just doing something. Imagine getting on YouTube at the age of 17, and now we at the age we at now. That's guaranteed 1 million subscribers at least.
like I say, some kids are actually motivated and they go out and do it. You got some kids that's aware of it, but they don't want to do the work. They want the ease. They want shit just to come where they want you to be able to provide the opportunity for them. And it's like, I'm gonna do everything that I can do in order to make sure you graduate. I'm gonna support everything that's positive. But come May or June, if you don't have no plan figured out, and I'm gonna still continue to try to. It's not like I'm just gonna cut them off completely. But at that point, you got some decisions to make, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because if you think you're gonna lay your ass up in here all fucking day, it ain't gonna happen.
I
Don't
gotta
kick him
say,
out.
I mean, even without having a child, well, he's not a child. He's a young man. You know, without having one that age, I could say that if you don't feel like he's being productive, I could see how that might frustrate you over time. You know what I mean? Kind of seeing him waste time, so to speak. You know, and so that's where we start to make it uncomfortable. Like you're not about to just sit around here and walk from the couch to the refrigerator all day long. What you do today? You know what I mean? What you working on? You know what I mean? So it may become uncomfortable for them the longer they stay in the nest if they aren't doing what we believe to be productive.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Don't kick him out.
yeah, man, I give him about 3 years. Daughter and son. I ain't gonna raise them no differently because my daughter should have a will to be prospering in life as well. I don't want her sitting around waiting on no man to come save her. I mean, I don't know if y'all looked around lately, but a lot of men are not really worthy of wearing that type of cape. So in that aspect, I need you to be working towards something. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like about 3 years, 4 years tops, which would be the time that you would typically be going to the service or you would be typically going to school. And by the time that's over with, you should be either like hella deep in something that you're trying to get into, or you should be locked in on what it is that you want to get into. And now you can go chase it. But all of that sitting in the crib for 10 years and no. I mean, it's just not productive. I don't believe in enabling mediocrity. Now, if you sit in the crib and you working towards something like, say, law degree, doctorate, something that takes some extensive amount of time, then okay, that's a different conversation. But you're not gonna be in my house 8 to 10 years, and I'm asking you, hey, what's going on? Well, I'm thinking. No. You can think about some shit outside because sometimes, which is the thing about certain people, some people just wired differently. Some people, like if you leave them in the nest and they got a chance to, build from there, they'll do something great. But some people, you leave them sitting in that nest and they're just gonna place and won't do shit. But that same child, you push them to the fire, and they'll go be great that way because they got the kicking ass that they needed. And sometimes that's just the kicking ass that they need. But sitting in my house for 8 to 10 years, no.
So you're saying that if there is a plan, right, to
that they create,
that they create, you kind of be the manager or the I don't know about the word manager, but the counselor, the consultant, so to speak, right?
Yep.
and it goes past 3 years. Would you be okay with that?
That would depend on what that plan is.
Okay.
If it's in a profession, because certain professions take a long time for you to get certified and for you to get to where you need to be in it. Examples, doctorate degrees, law degrees, different things like that. That's going to take a little longer than 3 years. But if it's something outside of that, you need to be knee deep into the plan. I don't need to just have. I don't want to see a plan. I want you to be knee deep into it. Like, how are you actively pursuing this plan? And I need it laid out in full detail. But if you, again, because this is, people are good at just coming up with shit. I don't know if y'all go back to your neighborhood often. Your neighborhood where you grew up, you might see some of your old friends, and every time you talk to them, they always got some shit that they about to do or they thinking about doing. Yeah, bro, I was thinking about getting back in school. I'm thinking about getting my certification to go get on but they don't never do it. You ask them for, okay, well, did you go down there to the office? Well, no, not yet, but I'm Monday. I'm gonna go down Monday and go check it out and see if I can. No, not no kid of mine. No, that's not happening. So you need to be knee deep into the plan to stay. If not, then you're gonna go figure it out.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I was just asking for clarity, because I know for me the goal was to help them in the way like trying to get them a foundation to build towards, like having a house. You know what I'm saying? Having them an opportunity, you know, if they wanted to go to not go to school, but to build a business, because I know, you know, building business take sometimes more than 3 years, right? But like, I'm with you. Like, if they have a plan and they knee deep in the plan, and they're saving, and there's a legitimate goal that they're about to reach, and 3 years just won't be it. But Dad, listen, like this 2 more years, hey, listen, this is what it looks like. And I'm saying, well, we gonna meet every 15 days. You know what I'm saying? So I can see what it is that you working on, and how you get into this goal, because otherwise you're wasting my time and yours, right? And that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that you're a productive individual, and you're also prepared to handle the difficulties of the world as well.
What about some character type of shit? You know, boxing. Send them to the basketball court every day. Like, if you're gonna live here, you're gonna go to basketball court every day. You're gonna get outside, go do some shit. Get in the gym. I need to see some growth. Like, take your ass to the gym. I need to see like some physical growth, like some character shit. You know what I'm saying? Go do this on a normal basis. So, like, for example, my guy Mike Rashid, like, he started working out at a young age. Now he's a multimillionaire due to his workout regimen. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes a young person can turn around and just fall in love with something that he just went outside doing, whether it's basketball, boxing, just in the gym. Something small like that could actually spark his you know, his thought process on building, by just him building himself up, instead of just going out and get some money. Go get bigger, or go get better at something.
So let me ask you this. All right, so we say what? You're 16 in 11th grade. Is that about right? 11th grade, you know whether or not you're getting into college, if college is the plan. So if you're not going to college, what you gonna do? You're gonna take up a trade? You start a business? What is it that you're gonna do? That means we're having this conversation at 16. Now, we didn't come out of high school. Well, what did we talk about? Ultimately, there should be no reason why you don't know what you're getting ready to do.
Right now, I got a little pushback on it. I think it's a reason not to, because the truth of the matter is, most of you guys on here are the way you are because of what you went through and what you did not have when you was younger.
Facts.
Just like what Trill said, he was the first in his family to go and finish college, right? So the truth of the matter is, the very things we strive for, right, to be better than our parents was, to make our kids' life more convenient, it actually kind of cripples them in a way, right? Like, we all know, your kids living better than you did, right? So my question is this: while we talk about this, what training have we received, right? What lessons have we learned? What planning? Because we didn't, like, just be honest. Let's be honest. A lot of us did this shit on the fly, right? You learned, just like Trill said, you learned your way as you went, correct? You had to make mistakes. You had to fall and get those blunders to get the experience. And it's that very adversity that taught you where you are today. And your kids don't have that same adversity. Right? So should your kids should your male child, right, be allowed some grace, or does he have to go through some type of adversity to make him the man he's going to be?
That's why I said the basketball court. Just get outside. Go lose. Go lose somewhere.
No, he need to lose at life, because every single guy that has ever been great had to fail. You had to suffer to be a man. And see, the thing that I hate a lot of times that I see, I was chilling in the audience and they keep talking about a business or money or what you want to do. They don't make you a man because you get money. It's what happens after you lose the money. It's your ability to be able to recover. It's your ability to be able to hold your family down. It's the thing that When you suffer, you build character, you build strength, you build growth, your ability to be able to survive, become a man, because you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. And just because you built the business or you get money, money don't make you a better person. The character aspect of it is what makes you great. You know, I even refer back to this whole Derek Jackson thing, right? And we know that, you know, for all visible purposes, if you look at it on the surface, he's the top 1% of men. He got the money, he got the build, right? He was in the gym and all of this other type of shit, but he's still a shitty person. He's still a piece of shit. And the character and going through things is what keeps you as you evolve and you become more successful. And I've always said that people need to fail early because you're still young enough to recover, and you failing in a controlled environment, which means that you're able to really become the person that you're supposed to be. But if you don't go through stuff as a guy, we so busy trying to bait. This is the thing that we tell women, why we say women can't raise men, because they're so busy trying to protect them instead of teach them the lesson that allows for them to be able to become the man that they're supposed to be. My dad had money when I graduated high school. He said, I'm not buying you a car. I gave you every single tool that you need to be able to go out there and work and go and get your own. I taught you how money works. I taught you what hard work looked like. I put you through school to make sure that you got the education that you need, and you have every limb and you in your right mind, and you have the foundation of God that allows yourself to be able to continue to know what character looks like and not to go out and do it the wrong way. And so me and all three of my brothers had to go out and buy our own car. And we cherished it, and it meant a lot more to us because we had to work for it and we had to own it. And all of those things that came along with us. Listen, as a young guy, no young boy is entitled to what their parents worked for. If you want to help them along the way or whatever, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't tell nobody how to raise their kid. But that kid's responsibility is to become a man. And this is one of the things that I think that separates boys from girls, is because girls are to be cherished and taken care of. And then even when you walk down the aisle, it's covering the covering. Men are supposed to be the ones that groom and cover that girl. But unless he understands what it takes to be a man, and only life can really teach you that, right? You can give him all of the game and all of that, but he has to implement that stuff. Unless you become a man through going through shit, you never really gonna become the person that you're supposed to be. And as he get older and as he grows up, if you continue to baby him, you're just gonna have to take care of him for the rest of your life and be in fear that when you die, this motherfucker is gonna fall off because you didn't really give him the tools that he needed in order to be successful by pushing him out into the world. I mean, every single movie, you can go in the 300 to even looking at things historically, they push the motherfuckers out there. 15, 16, you got to go on you got to learn how to hunt. Even animals, as a bird, they dropping you out the fucking nest. Fly now. It's your turn. And we so busy babying boys that they start to become feminine and they start to compare themselves to women instead of understanding what it takes in order to be a man. But that's just my personal opinion on this subject. I think that boys are supposed to suffer. And the earlier they can suffer, the better off that they'll be as men.
But you don't see that in other cultures though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in most cultures, like I taught in mostly Hispanic neighborhoods. They're living together so that they can build wealth. Like they will be 8 to 10 people, or even 2 or 3 families in the same house. These are grown men, right? And
but those grown men have to pull their weight,
right? But they still living together. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, what I'm saying is, if we're talking about building wealth and we're trying to increase the Black family, we're doing it wrong. Like, we're not winning in that regard. So why would we do the same thing that we've been doing? Like, yes, I had to take care of my brother and my sister when I was like 14, because my mom worked like 12 and 16-hour shifts. Did it make me who I am? Obviously, right? But however, if I would have had a better structure as it relates to the family, right, I wouldn't have had to endure the fact of me having to pick up my brother and my sister, right? There are other ways in which a man can become a man just because he lives at home for a short amount of time, because I see it regularly in white families as well as Hispanic families. I'm not talking about staying forever.
But
And we already talked about, hold on, let me finish real quick. And I'm just saying, live there with structure and a plan to move out, because and if they don't do what you say, then they're gonna have to get out and experience the world anyway. I'm saying, like what you're saying, go ahead and fail early, right? But if they fail early without a safety net, then they doomed. Whereas if they fail in your house, then it'd be a lot better for them to have a better.
What's the safety net? What do you mean? Can you explain?
Hold on. First of all, he's conflating arguments because he's using an extreme in order to paint a picture that wasn't the picture that was painted in the beginning of the conversation. Nobody is telling him that his son gonna have to go out there and take care of a 14 and 15-year-old or his brother and sister. That's an extreme case that doesn't even apply to this. You're using your own situation. First of all, you became a great man as a result of it, but you're using your own situation in order to paint an extreme narrative, right? That's A. B, other cultures do force their kids to become men. They absolutely force their kids to become men. It's funny because, and I swear to God, on my father's grave, I was just talking to a girl, and I was coaching her through a situation, and she was like, yo, my son is like 18, 19 years old, and all he want to do is this. Because let's be clear, when he don't do what you're supposed to do, you even agreed that you need to put that motherfucker out, right? Humble Dad, did you not just say that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Cool. And I said, yo, you need to put him out. And she was like, oh my God, but Anton, he gonna be homeless or whatever, so on and so forth. She put him out. She listened, she put him out. That motherfucker is winning. He went and got 2 jobs. He enrolled in school. He doing he doing so well that he's starting to look out for his mom. He showed up. But until you actually put him in a position where they got to show and prove, you continuing to baby him and protect him. And again, this is just my perspective. I think you're doing more to hurt him than you're doing to help him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you just used one example, just like I did. I was just saying that even if you look at it from a business perspective, right, it would make more sense for you to have a plan with your son to get to the point of a goal of, let's say, by the age of 25, you should have a job, and or you should already, if you want to be an entrepreneur, then you should already be in a position of where this business is about to launch and be taken off, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you decide to say, get out there at 18, right, and they have no financial stability, you're saying, go get it yourself. That's fine. You can do that, but they're going to struggle even longer, as opposed to if you allow them to fail from until they're 23, 24. That's the time that they can fail. Y'all just said that they need to be able to fail early. Why would you want to fail and not have a net to fall back on, as opposed to a launching pad?
I failed all the way up until I was 30.
But that's just you. You know what I'm saying? That ain't most
all my
people.
brothers, every single person I know that's been successful in business failed all through their 20s.
And psychologically, as a man, we learn more when we lose something. So if you're not in a position, or you haven't losing a job, losing your freedom, you get in a motorcycle accident, you almost lose your life, lose your girl, lose your whatever it is, you actually sit down with yourself. How many dudes go to jail and now they're a damn Muslim or something? That is when we actually change our behavior, when we take some type of loss. But if you don't put loss in front of a man or a young man, he's not going to learn how to be a better man. It's like putting an egg that can crack. You know, if you just pop it against something, you put that shit in boiling water, now it's hard.
And I want to clarify, because everybody is stuck on the word suffering, right? That it's for me, a better word, and no disrespect to nobody, is adversity. A man has to go through adversity. Right. The reason why we're everybody complaining about these Gen Zs and these new kids is because why? They don't have to go through nothing. Men are defined by the things they overcome. If y'all don't agree with that, then I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all. You will never, even if you sitting up there and you got, like you said, a safety net, and your mom is providing this and that and that and this, at that point you become the man your mother wants, not the man you need to be.
That was it right there. That was it.
Yeah,
the man your mother wants instead of the man you need to be. That was it right there, Ricky.
I don't think that's.
So,
go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead, Shannon.
Let me so I pretty much disagree with everybody. I think I'm more in alignment with Humble Dad. I think Humble Dad can clarify, but pretty much I'm in disagreement with everybody. And you're talking about somebody who's been, I graduated high school at 16. I was working, went to the military, been to 4 colleges, been all over the world. Let me start with this. Black people are lazy. We are lazy. And kicking your kids out is lazy parenting. The term is called failure to launch, right? I'm not sure if anybody even seen that movie with Matthew McConaughey. It's an old school movie, Failure to Launch, where the kid didn't leave, parents couldn't walk around and do what they wanted to do. Black people, do not kick your children out. That is something, that is a trope. That is what we do. What is it? Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. We are the poorest, most disenfranchised community. We got the less amount of money, and we the first ones to talk about, I can't wait till you 18 so you can get out of my house. We the only ones that say that. And we the poorest in the country. There's causation and correlation there, you guys. You should, as a parent, have been cultivating your son to be a winner when he could barely walk. But we wait until they get 16, 17, 18 and then say, well, what you want to do? You should have known that when he was 7. And if you didn't know it, you should have been pushing it or organizing it and setting it up. So that's not even a question for you when he gets 17, 18, 19, because you put a plan in place. Stop telling your children to figure it out. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a book that I suggest everybody read. Teach them. Black people, we so quick to say, oh man, you know what, you got to be. And I know, because I've been through that. And I'm realizing now, and this is hindsight 2020, by the way. Damn, that's a bad deal for Black people, because us figuring it out got us last right now. But we tough though. I was out there. That's how I became who I am, because I was scraping. And now you ain't shit until you 40. Watching all these other young kids winning with their parents behind them. I'm in Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. You know how many people I watch? I'm a film producer and a fashion designer in Los Angeles. You know how many people I watch move here because they parents just said, go figure it out. No plan, no structure. Just, I'll pay for your rent for the first 6 months, and after that, and then I'll sit there and watch LA chew their ass up and send their ass right back to the Midwest. I see it month after month. Where's such and such? Oh, they went back home. Oh yeah, I knew they was going back home. Their parents didn't give a fuck what they was doing anyway. What we need to do as a community, as Black people particularly, men, to your sons especially, is put them in the best position to win. And if it's not at 18, then keep doing it until they win. But you're supposed to be part of that process all along the way, not sitting back saying, what you gonna do? Well, what's your plan? What you give them a plan. You know better. You've been here all this time. You know what the world is like. You know what paying taxes and bank accounts and IRS and the world and police. You know all this stuff that you know that your young 18-year-old son don't know. Why don't you have a plan? Why you should have 4 or 5 plans. Hey man, this is what you're gonna do, or this is what I strongly suggest you do. You know where your child is strong and weak, more so than your child knows. You want to be a chef? Nah, you don't want to be a chef. Let's look at these things because I've tasted your food. You don't, I know you think you want to rap, but yes, son, no. This is where you're strong at. And this is why I bought that equipment on Amazon and kept helping getting this. I had no problem investing in all this stuff that you needed because I know that's what you love. You loved that when you was 3 years old. You were the mechanic of the family. You was always passing me my tools when I was out working on the car, but your brother was always in there playing video games. That's why I got him the best headset and the computer system. But I got you the best tool. You as a parent should know. You set that plan for your child so they can become the best winner they can and invest in them financially. Put money on their books. Help them win, not sit back and say, well, you got to be tough because, hard times create strong men and I need you to skin up your knees and shit. That's we the only motherfuckers that say that. While we sitting around watching these Asian people, Hispanic and white folk, children with their parents, helping them all through engineering school, helping them through becomes fucking astronauts and shit, helping them fucking open businesses. I'm downtown and everybody is there except for black people. I'm like, they know me because I'm the only motherfucker down there. We shop, but none of the owners, the business owners, they don't look like us. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I get it. I understand. Put your kids through some shit so they can, especially the boys, so they can go through some stuff and they could be tough and fail. Like Anton, I believe in the fail early thing. I actually believe in that, but it's tough for me to sit there and say fail without me watching you fail. You may skin up your knee, but I'm there to pick you up. But I'm glad you failed, but I'm there to pick you up. Not to say, well, now figure out how to get up. Because I'm over here working. That's what our parents did. And that's why we mad that they didn't teach us credit. Mom and dad, you didn't tell me what a FICO score was? Well, I didn't really know. Well, you should have learned. You didn't tell me, you didn't put a house, you didn't buy a house when it was cheap. I'm looking at property in Palmdale, Lancaster. My parents could have got that shit for $200. You didn't think to go get an acre for $200 back in 77? It was nothing to you, but instead you was buying JBL and Macintosh stereo systems and shit and Gucci purses instead of a piece of land. That would have put me in a better position today. Why would I turn around and do that to my kids too? That makes no sense to me. So I say, hell no, don't have no set date for your kids to get pushed out. Because if you do, it means that you aren't doing the best thing you could do as a coach. And you upset that your team ain't scoring. You upset that your team don't know how to run a play. You upset that your team is shooting air balls and saying, well, fuck, I got to get it. I can't coach you. No, you suck as a coach. You're supposed to teach them how to run that play. You're supposed to teach them how to shoot, have the proper form to shoot the J. And so when they win as a team, you can sit back and say, yeah, that's me. Because you're going to be quick to take fucking credit if your children win, whether you are part of it or not. You're going to say, that's me. And you're going to say, I taught them all of that shit. And when they fail, you're going to say, I ain't had nothing to do with that. Nah, it's all on you. And so since it's all on you, whether they win or lose, put them in a position to win where you are helping them as much as you can, and kicking them out ain't going to help.
I suggest that people also study the authors of these books that Shan is talking about, right? Because, like, for example, Rich Dad, Poor Dad was written by Robert Kiyosaki, but I would also submit to you that Robert Kiyosaki, outside of his ability to be able to make money, is a piece of shit. His life is fucked up. His wife left him. He's a simp, and he doesn't even know how to stand as a man outside of his ability to be able to generate resources. I would suggest that you also supplement that reading with The Richest Man in Babylon, The Alchemist, and then also David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me, because those will teach you what it means to be a man, and it's more than just your ability to be able to generate resources. The thing that people don't understand, right, is that just because you make money, because it's plenty of people who had grandparents and great-grandparents and parents who left them their houses, and then that person turned around and sold that house because they didn't have the character and they was babied and they didn't go through the thing that their parents went through in order to be able to secure that property in the first place. And they sold the land that their parents wound up passing down to them in the first place. I see people every day, even today, that can't wait for their parents to die so that they can get whatever it is that their parents passed down to them so that they can sell it off and be able to live the life that they want to live. Your ability to generate resources does not make you a man alone. That's not the end of the conversation. And so that's why I say maybe y'all need to also study the authors that wrote these books, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the entirety of what it really takes in order to become great, right? Not having a set date wasn't the conversation. The fact that the kid was unwilling to do what he was supposed to do in order to meet expectations that were set by his parents means that he had substantiated himself enough to say, I want to be out here on my own instead of doing what you told me to do. When you don't do what you're supposed to do, that means that you in a space to where you feel like you can do it on your own. So that means that you don't need me no more, because you're not going to do what the fuck you want to do in the house that I'm paying for. That's not how life works. And so we continuing to baby and continuing to do the things that's not making men men, which is exactly the thing that we substantiate when we're talking about these women that's raising men. You're not doing them no favors. You're not doing him any favors whatsoever. All you doing is creating another monster. And even the word saying, I know a lot of people think a little bit differently, or they don't. Teach them when they're young. I agree with that. It'll never depart from them. The foundation and the lessons that you gave him as he was coming up is going to stick with him, but it doesn't mean that he's not supposed to work. Even faith without works is dead. It's not enough to just have him sitting up under you. At some time, you got to show and prove. Every single person, and I'll give you another thing, and this is my last point. Even these fucking rich people, the Warren Buffetts, the Bill Gates, all of these people say, yo, I'm not giving my fortune to my kids. The richest people in the world is saying that, yo, that's a bad idea. I'd rather give it away than give it to them. Ask yourself that question, why? Why would they rather give away their fortune and pass it on to their kids? It's a reason for that. I'm going to just leave it there.
Real quick. Those are great books. I read them on my show. Richest Man in Babylon was the last book I read to everybody. It speaks to more about what I'm talking about than anything. But the thing is, you're right when it comes to that real estate, though.
What did he go through?
You're right about when it comes to that real estate. But, guess who sells grandma house the most? Guess is the community that kicks their kids out the fastest. Don't sell grandma house is what we do. Everybody else keep their grandma house and they buy more. And I get it. I hear what you're saying. There's people, I know what Jackie Chan said. Was it Jackie Chan said that? Somebody said it. I'm not, but you know what? They're not leaving. Let's not think that they're just leaving their kids with nothing. They put them in a position to win and say win, but I'm not going to just give you 10 billion. Trump's daddy didn't say, I'm going to give you all 300 million. I'm going to give you $1 million to get started. Obama, our last 3 presidents had parents that didn't just say, go figure it out. They put them in a position to win. Now, if they fail with what they put them in a position to win with, that's a different conversation. But they probably raised those kids from a pup to make sure that they're in a position that when they give it, when they give in that position, that they'll do something productive with it. And that's what I'm saying. What we do is we just maintain our children. We don't raise them. We watch them. We babysit our own kids and give them, and nowadays giving them an iPad all goddamn day. And now they got Coco Melon and they watching these cartoons and shit. And then they grow up and then next thing you know, they're on Xbox and they can play Call of Duty like a motherfucker, right? And then we say, well, what you want to do now that you're 16? What? No, that's what I'm saying. You better figure it out because you got a year. No. That's not the plan. Don't make that the plan. The thing is, and I'm not saying it's too late. It's not too late if your child was 23 to get involved. But don't be a lazy parent. Be a active parent that's involved as much as you were when you was trying to get them to play football and shit, and to be on Pop Warner and working out the play and trying to get them to condition them and have that same energy towards making sure that they have something that's going not to just get into the NFL or the NBA, but to have something that's going to sustain them for the rest of their lives in terms of career choice. And we don't do that. But we quick to kick the motherfucker out. That's all I'm saying. Stop kicking your kids out. Keep them involved. Keep them in the house. Give them a place to live with structure and a plan that's going to work for them. Remember, every stepping stone to a goal has a milestone. Are they meeting their milestones? Are you working with them on the milestones, or are you just letting them set their own? You let them set their own milestones. No, that's not going to work with me. So you need to be here with this certification by June. And then after June, you got another 45 days to get this. And then we could revisit this in October. This is how you do it.
Let me
step by step.
Let me ask you a question.
I got to answer.
Shan. What happens when he don't meet that milestone?
The same thing that you do when they failed their driving test. Study and do it again.
What happens when he say, fuck that? Fuck your milestone. And not literally,
okay, now
but in so many words, this is a grown fucking man. He probably bigger than you. What happens when he say, okay, cool, fuck your milestone in so many words with my actions? Then what happens?
This is where, now I hear what you're saying. This is where you fucked up a long time ago as a parent.
No. We not talking about in the past, Shan.
Well, because you're giving hypothetics.
No. What do you do? It's real time. He say, fuck your milestone. He know you ain't kicking him out the house because you ain't got the backbone to do so, and you're going to have that safety net up under him. But he said, fuck your milestone. Now what? What you going to do?
You there?
These
Hello.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking these
thinking,
weird.
bro. That's crazy.
No, because these weird scenarios. So so you saying I got a child that says fuck the milestone.
Weird? How is that weird? Motherfuckers go out and do what they want to do every day.
Everybody kids say fuck your milestone, Shan.
They do what they want to do.
No. That's my point. See, you know why the kids that say fuck your milestone is the kids that had parents that was shitty parents to begin with.
That's a lie. Most kids going to rebel, bro.
Hold on. It's some parents that do everything right and the kids still do what they want to do. And it don't mean that they're a bad person. It may be they going through a moment, whatever it is that's happening. What happens? What do you do in real time? This motherfucker is 19 and
19
and his 19, 20, whatever. In his actions, he said, fuck your milestone, and I don't want to do what you told me to do. Then what?
Keep working. At 19, then,
okay,
then what would you
what does that work look like?
You got a new milestone.
Fuck your milestone.
You got new shit.
Talking about
this, I mean, what do you there's because I can't imagine that scenario, but if it happened, because I'm assuming I can't imagine the kind of parent I am. I can't imagine that happening. I've already raised kids to adults. It never happened before. So, but if I have to go into this la land of that happening, and that's my child at 19 years old, then what's the new plan? Then what's the new plan?
I think.
Then what's the new milestone?
I think we missing a real life caveat, right? And I think we had this conversation before to an extent, but the truth is, your children are their own people. I love the way everybody listen. I hear what y'all saying, right? And what y'all say, what they say to me in the chat, right? Ricky, that's not realistic. You looking at a perfect world. In a perfect world, your guidance from the time, exactly like you said, Shannon, right? You guide, you provide milestones, you're an active leader, you're an active parent. But the truth of the matter is, one day that child is going to look at life differently than what you told them. Now, we can keep pointing out the cases where these families have traditions. Again, we got to understand. We got to understand, to be honest, traditions start somewhere, right? So one son or daughter realized at one point, hey, this is what mom and dad does. This is what I'm going to do. And then it carries on from generation. Yes, that happens, right? But let's be honest. If this was the case, and if these guidelines worked for everybody in every single situation, there would be more black doctors. There would be more black businesses. There would be more black plumbing companies. We know that's not the case because people are there.
Is that me? Is Ricky breaking up?
Hey, Ricky, you freezing up a little bit.
I look good on my end.
Not on my end. He look regular on my end.
Right? Your children are their own people. And I understand why we want to guide our children and set them on a particular path. The truth is, when that child becomes an adult and they get their own independent thinking, they're going to want to go their own way in most cases.
That's good. Yes.
So yes, indeed.
I want
I
the
didn't
kids
get
to
a
go.
solution. I didn't get a solution.
What you're saying is what I'm gonna do with an unruly child, a child that's in the house saying "fuck you," but "fuck you," I'm going to my room, Dad. The fuck? It's like, come on, man.
No, we talking about a grown kid that you said don't kick him out, right? And we always, because let's be clear, there are other cultures where kids are saying "fuck your milestones," and they don't literally say it to their parents verbatim. But in their actions, they do what they want to do when they're not focused on what it is that their parent is telling them to do, understanding that there's a safety net and their parents ain't gonna do nothing to them because they've already established that this is the way it's gonna be. So in a scenario where a person is rebellious and they do what they want to do when they want to do it and they're not meeting your expectations, let me give you a real life scenario. You gave him a milestone, said go to school. This motherfucker barely go to class. His grades is fucked up. You paying for his education or whatever. Right? He leave the crib and he do what he want to do when he want to do it. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with a kid that's going to do a grown man in your crib that's doing what he want to do when you want to do it and you paying the bills?
I'd say, well, fuck school, son. School ain't for you.
But he's saying, I don't want to do nothing. I won't do nothing. Now what?
No, and see, that's what I'm saying. So now you guys, and that's what it's people always use these
scenario,
extremes just to get a point across.
All right, so Shan, you
got
brought
these
up
extreme. Oh, you got a child that doesn't want to do nothing. He just want to come on, man.
Shannon,
like if you got a child now,
question,
if you're gonna go to college, if you're gonna go to college, it's because you believe that college is best for you as well as much as I do. But if you're gonna go to college, you're not gonna go to school, then don't go to college.
Shannon, I did the same thing to Anton Thursday. And Anton, you was doing the same shit Thursday as now. Won't answer the question.
No, I answered it directly. You asked me Thursday.
Hey, y'all finna get into a whole different conversation.
No, you asked me specific questions. And you said,
people don't want to answer the question.
What would you do with a woman that can't get her weight off because she ain't got no time to go to the gym? And I told you to put less food in your mouth because a caloric deficit has nothing to do with your ability to get to the gym. I answered your question directly.
That was not the question, Anton. I was just making a point. Shannon is doing the same shit is all I'm saying. Why can't you just answer the question, Shannon? If your son,
ask me the question because I don't like when niggas move a goalpost. But go ask me the question.
If your son, you told him to go to college, he flunked out of college. You told him to go get a job.
I see you eating, Trill.
He don't want to do shit, and he's just in your house and don't want to do nothing. What do you do then? He don't do nothing. I don't know, Dad. Why don't you do it? Nope, I won't do that.
Hey, give him a moment, Mr. Lego. He you got to give him think time.
I'm thinking of these. I hate unrealistic questions.
Shannon is one
the answer at that point. Listen.
Shannon is one of the smartest dudes on the panel. Shannon is the only person on the panel that reads to his audience. Shannon understands the question. He's not.
I understand it.
He doesn't have to overthink it.
He doesn't want to answer the question, Anton.
Yeah, I am avoiding answering this. I'm literally
Hold
avoiding.
on, y'all.
Y'all niggas don't want to answer the
Hold on,
questions.
y'all. Gotta get Rio in there. Go ahead, Rio.
All right, Shen. So instead of that question, we can circle back to it. You mentioned other cultures, right? So yesterday, me and Humble Dad, we were talking to Trigger Mike. Trigger Mike was saying how his cousin wanted to be a DJ. His cousin's father says, "No, you're not going to be a DJ. You're going to be a doctor." He says, "Now, once you make money off of becoming a doctor, you can buy all the DJ equipment you want to buy, and you can do all the DJing you want to do in your spare time." They're Nigerian. What he did was he became a doctor. And now his garage is filled with DJ equipment. And in his spare time, he DJs in his garage. Why is it that we talk so much about choice, but other cultures, some of these other cultures that you mentioned who are producing successful offspring, can be told what to do, and their fathers have so much influence that they take heed, they listen, and they push forth with the direction that they were pointed. You mentioned that we are messing up early on. If our kids aren't early on, so
No influence, right?
Why? And what do we need to change in order to have that level of influence? And do we
Better
want to have that
parenting
level of influence?
Stop babysitting motherfucking your own children. The answer to answer that question, that's the easy one. Stop babysitting get involved early. Stop maintaining children and start raising them. And the fact that whoever you're talking about, because I don't know anything about this conversation, whoever you're talking about, the father that told him, "Hey, you're gonna be a doc," and I wouldn't even have said that. I would have said, "Okay, well, cool. Let's see what that's gonna be like, but let's also do this." But anyway, his father had the influence over him to make him say, "Okay, Pop, so you know best." And the only reason he had that was because of early on, at age 6 and 7,
and
he
culture,
instilled that.
and culture too. I said, and their culture as well.
And the culture too, which probably said, "This is my environment, and this is what my neighbors do, and this is what all my friends do, and all my friends say, Pop say this is gonna work out, and we all are winning, and we're all. I might want to do this instead." The only kid that's really gonna say, "Man, fuck what you talking about," is when his daddy ain't shit.
Man,
The only kids.
My daughter did the same shit, and I'm way away from not being shit.
Didn't even quiz him on fucking credit.
Oh my God.
You didn't help him out.
It wasn't even about that. It was she wanted to do what she wanted to do. It had nothing to do with no damn
That's
credit.
My point.
It's
why were you the type of parent? I'm not saying I don't know what kind of dad you were.
I want to do what I want to do. Kids do shit like that, and they don't want to do what you want them to do. And then they don't know what they want to do, and they just want to just sit there. And
because you know why? Because that only happens to parents who play a tape and expect their kids to learn how to do credit and don't ask them.
Why don't you just answer my question instead of just trying to triangulate and shit? Answer the damn question.
I'm gonna tell you what I see. Shan don't want to come off that thing.
Now you see what I'm saying, Anton.
No, Shan don't want to come off that thing of putting him the fuck out.
Right.
And so as a result, Shan would choose not to answer the question than to reposition himself as saying that motherfucker got to get out if he don't really want to do it.
Hey, let me piggyback off of that, Anton, real quick.
Aggressive technique in order.
Let me piggyback off of that because that's what I said, right? I said everything that Shannon said, but I then said if they being unruly and not following the structure of what's going down, then they got to get out. Shannon, you're a businessman. You also have employees, right? So I would imagine that you want your employees to be great and do well. I would imagine that. Is that fair to say? Right. Mm-hmm. And you give them a structure in which they're supposed to be running this business, the business in a way that when you're not there, it runs smoothly. Mm-hmm. But if there is one that says, "Listen, Shannon, Mr. Shannon, I'm not doing none of this." Mm-hmm. What you doing?
Do I fire him?
That ain't what I didn't ask. I just said, "What you doing?"
I'm not. No. Okay. So I don't fire people anymore, and I learned this from Macy. I forget the motivational speaker Macy. I forget the white guy with the glasses. And so, you know what? They can quit all day long, but what I do is I demote them. You can no longer you're no longer in charge of in my case, I only have 7 positions. So you're no longer in charge of inventory. You're not my inventory manager no more. Now you're just this. Now you're just this. And then you get to the point where now you only have 5 hours a week. And when you come, all you're doing is sweeping. But I would try to mold them. I'll say, why won't you do this? I try to find out where they're strong at. Every human being has a strength somewhere. And so because I may put somebody in production or somebody comes on because they think that they know how to do design and they really suck at design. They want to be a buyer. She don't know what the fuck to buy. She's missing out on deals. She's not creating a good relationship with the suppliers. That's just not good for you. You pull them off of that. And then I say, okay, this is what you should probably do. Now, if they say, I don't want to do that, I really want to do this over here that I suck at, I say, well, you can't do that anymore. Not for me, but you can do this. Well,
so then I got you. So then how could you apply that same logic to the scenario that Anton gave, even though it's far-fetched, but it does
because it wouldn't be real. Because the realistic answer is Anton answered it for me. I just didn't want to say it.
Brandon, are you a simp parent?
Anton answered it for me. I just didn't want to say it.
Anton, Shannon, you are a simp parent. You're a simp parent.
No, Mr. Lego, bruh, chill. I'll be nice to you, but I don't gotta be nice with your dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? You the motherfucker that got kids. You got the daughter. You got the daughter that won't even listen at you. First of all, so that means you a fucked up ass daddy. That's number one. Number two, you already admitted that you didn't teach your kids what the fuck they should. You playing tapes. You don't even know credit. You trying to teach you. Well, why you don't know? I thought I taught you. No, she told you, nigga. You should have taught me something. You are a parent. You are a present parent that's not present. That makes you a fucking ain't shit daddy.
Do you see what you're actually doing though?
Parent, I'm the type of motherfucker that's gonna make sure my kids is solid from the beginning.
Do you see what you're doing though?
You actually have a daughter that don't know shit because of you.
This is called projecting.
What are you talking about?
Shannon,
you actually have a daughter that don't listen to you. Shannon, there's nobody that's come up under my
why are you projecting,
employee or business or personal that says that Shannon,
why are you projecting,
teach
bro?
Me something. Everybody learned something from me.
Why are you projecting? You going?
No, I'm not projecting. I'm just telling you that
we're talking about
you. Father,
you're trying to bring it on me.
We're talking about you, bro. Shit daddy. I'm showing you that you're an ain't shit daddy because you said that you're an ain't shit daddy. You painted it pretty. I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay, whatever. Can you answer? You still ain't answering the damn question then. You can say all this shit, still answer the damn question. Why or what would happen if your son didn't want to do shit? It's on you. You said all what you want to say on me. What would you damn do if your son said, I ain't doing shit? Answer the question.
Anton answered it for me already.
Nigga. You see the shit?
You see that? You see, you got me, Anton?
You damn simp parent.
And Anton. So if you got a kid, so like the first thing that popped in my mind was send them to the military, but then they'll say, I'm not going to the army, right? Because like you guys say, adults could do what the fuck they want to do, right? So if you got somebody in your house and you say, listen, this is what you should do. Okay, you don't want to do that. All right, I want to send you to college. You don't want to do that. Well, go to the military. You don't want to do that. What do you want to do? I don't want to do nothing, Dad. I just want to sit in my room. Well, the reality is that's not your room no more. You got to get the fuck out of here. That's the reality of it, right? And that's what Anton said. And y'all know I don't want to say that. It's not that I'm scared to say it. It's just that it's difficult when people move a goalpost or make a scenario that's so far-fetched that they're just trying to exaggerate to get their point across. I hate when people exaggerate to try to get their point across.
But though, Shannon, even like every point when it comes to logic is able to connect to each particular scenario that is presented. So when you was like, I don't want to put them out, like you know that's not logical. If a person is being defiant towards you, that means that they don't even respect your authority. You have to then begin to enforce your authority.
Well, yeah, but see that's my point. That means that that means that the rebuke to what I'm saying is using an extreme when I'm simply saying be a better parent, which is not an extreme. I'm simply saying get involved with your children. The context was removed from my entire statement on we're lazy motherfuckers as a community. We're lazy people. We kick our kids out the most, and we're the poorest. That's not far-fetched. That's a reality. And then I'm saying the solution to that, which is what King was talking about, is why don't we get involved a lot earlier? Because we shouldn't ask our children. We shouldn't ask a 17-year-old kid, what do you want to do? We should know that. But if we don't know that, we fucking failed as a coach. So it's all on our shoulders. This is what everybody talk. This is king talk, right? What are we doing as kings and raising kings? Well, we damn sure can't be hands-off kings. We got to be hands-on from as early as possible. Now, if we remove all of that and then say, you got a kid that just says, Dad, I ain't doing shit. I'm going to just sit around and play. I'm going to eat your food, shit in your toilet, and sleep in this room, and I ain't doing nothing you want me to do. Well, where the fuck is that kid that's coming like that with my context? It doesn't happen. You can't name one.
It does happen every day.
No,
bro.
But it's not the norm though. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. And I interviewed dads on a regular basis. Like that's not the norm. I'm talking about what y'all talking about. That's not the norm. What Shannon is talking about is the norm. When you
I'm just saying it happens. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it does happen, but like
extremes. I thought men are the ones that do not use not all, but some.
I don't think that's an extreme circumstance.
I thought we don't have to talk about absolutes.
I don't think that's an extreme circumstance. I think that there's plenty of Jodies in this world. I do.
Yes. I agree. We got way too many Jodies in this world. We got a whole lot of shiftless niggas that ain't shit. But then where's the background? How did they become
Shannon, I'm not disagreeing
Jody?
with that. That's why I never debated that point. When you said to meet the expectation earlier, and to be pairing them the whole time, I don't have no pushback for that whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So the part that I was speaking to was that I think that at some point, a lot of us in a lot of different ways was rebellious to whatever it is that our parents set as a foundation in our life. I had a point of rebelliousness that I went through. Thank God I went through it earlier than when before I actually graduated high school. My rebellious.
What did you rebel against though, Anton?
I rebelled against the entire way that I was being raised, being
everything,
being in the church, you know what I'm saying? All of that. Like I wasn't raised to do a lot of the things that I was doing, right? My father and the example that he set was much different, but instead of babying me, they let me go through some of that stuff. They let me suffer through some of that stuff instead of saying, oh no, listen, I just need to keep talking to you. And they was like, listen, the way you're going to reach this motherfucker is you just going to have to let him suffer. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to let them catch some L's. You're gonna have to, and that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never even really said this part, but well, I'm not gonna share that part of my life. That'll be a whole nother conversation. But my point is that I'm very thankful that my parents let me go through some of the stuff that I went through. Because it taught me the lesson early, but I think that if they had babied me, then it would have enabled my behavior even more instead of correcting me.
And see, that's why when I said I disagree with most of y'all, because I didn't agree with all of everything. It's like the babying thing. I'm not babying. The fuck, we don't baby over here. That's what it's almost like I gotta unprogram what grandma do. It's like stop hugging. No,
Shannon, I wasn't speaking
the baby part. I agree with. It's like we don't need the baby boy.
I know you a good father. I know you a good dude. That's why I wasn't speaking specifically to your life. There's plenty of guys, and we see it all the time. A kid get up to the point to where they decide that they want to challenge their father, or they want to challenge the environment that they live in, or even if they live in with their mother, but they still got their father in their life, because it's not necessarily a household in which their parents are still together. It comes to a head, and then he got to go and send him to live with his father or whatever, so on and so forth. Right? The scenarios happen on a regular basis.
Boys in the hood.
And Shan, so you saying none of that ever happened? Because my daughter is not a loser or none of that shit. She just rebelled. And she just didn't want to do what I told her to do. So she had to go. I didn't kick her out or nothing like that. But we had a conversation. And, you know, but at the end of the day, you never dealt with any type of rebellion?
I'm asking you, why would your daughter get to the point that she would not do what her father suggests?
Because she wanted to rebel. That's what kids do. Your children have
and I don't
never
believe that.
listen,
So at that point,
man,
and this
I'm
is just
asking
me.
you a question. So you're
I heard
saying your children never rebelled against what you told them to do? Just a question.
No.
Well,
no.
that humble dad is not normal. That is not great.
No.
Amazing.
It's
Shane.
very normal. It's
That's
very
great.
normal for
All
children
I'm
to
saying is
rebel.
grown children or reaching adult children, they usually rebel in some type of way.
They do.
No,
listen. I think we're getting mixed up. So let's not get lost in translation.
translation.
Here's the thing. There is a ton of kids that rebel. There's a ton of daughters that do what Mr. Let Go's daughter do. There's a ton of sons that say fuck dad. There's a ton of kids that don't listen to their mama and daddy. There's a ton of them. There's more than I'd like to think of now that I'm thinking about some of my young frat brothers. I'm thinking of some of the motherfuckers that was in the military with me, some of the people that's at my college, some of the people in my hood. I know that your daughter is actually common. I'm saying why. And the why is where I'm get to the parenting part. That's where I'm saying. Now here's the thing.
Well,
this is where Humble Dad comes in. The why isn't where I did everything. You know what? You were fucking babied, like Anton is saying.
No. Hold on. I can answer why.
Final thoughts.
Okay, go.
It was a divorce. Like Anton used that as an example. Sometimes the parents break up. So we're not saying that the children are perfect or whatever. We're just saying, what do you do when your child rebels? You're stuck on, why is they rebelling? I'm a good father. You're not a. We're just saying, if or when your child rebels, what do you do? That's what this whole conversation is about. And you took so long to just simply answer a question. And you start
this conversation, but that's the thing about it. The whole conversation wasn't about that. The whole conversation.
What do you do when it just happens? That's all I'm saying.
No, I guess my thing is the whole conversation wasn't about what happens when your children say fuck you. That wasn't the conversation. The conversation was, do we do failures to launch and do we kick our children out? And I'm simply saying, stop doing that. We don't need to kick our kids out no more.
And I agree with you on that.
Kick them out. Hear me out. Everybody, please kick your children out if you're gonna be a lazy parent.
I agree with you.
If you're gonna wait till you get to 17, if you got a daughter that wants to be a model and you're not gonna be right there doing all you can to make sure that she gets in fucking Vogue magazine and you're going to all the auditions, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do to help your daughter become the best model she can at the earliest age, which is where it's important for a model to become one, then don't sit up and say, okay, well, I'm gonna just send you to New York and when you get 18 and let me know how your auditions go. Call me next month. That's what the fuck we're doing. That's what's happening. And it's happening far too often in the Black community. I'm saying that won't happen if you become a better parent. That's all I'm saying. And so don't kick out is the first thing.
And what I'm saying, it will happen even if you are a better parent.
Mom or dad.
Because children are individuals, so it will or could happen regardless of what type of parent you are, because your children are themselves. They are individual people, like Ricky said. So that's some bullshit, because at the end of the day, everybody has their own experience, and your children are going to have different experiences than you have as a parent. You can't turn children aren't robots.
Can we get the super chats? Can we get the super chats? We gonna be beating this horse. We beating this horse.
Yeah, because we're gonna be on this. We're gonna be on this for a while.
Hey, I got a lot of passion, man.
I got you guys. I hear what y'all saying. I understand you. I'm just simply, I got you guys. And Mr. Let Go, I ain't mean to come at you like that. So I apologize for that. I got out of character. I don't want to be like that.
No, it's all good. You just acting like a single mother. That's all.
And so, but I did want to say,
Shannon, still ain't done yet, huh?
No, I ain't done. Let me wrap it up.
Look, we gotta do super chats, bro.
No, all right, cool. I'm gonna throw it to Ricky in just a second. I wanted to know. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. Trill and Anton got daughters. I don't think I can't guarantee it. I don't think they can either. But I don't think that Trill or Anton is gonna have to worry about their daughter saying, "Fuck you, I don't want to do nothing."
That wasn't my
I have a
situation.
feeling.
Just what
But
I just put that up.
let
That
me
wasn't my
just say this
situation.
one caveat. Let me
I
say
got a
this one
feeling.
I
caveat.
just said my daughter rebelled.
Hold
I
on.
didn't say she
No,
didn't
I
want to
ain't
do
talking
nothing.
about you, man. See, this ain't about you, Mr.
Okay.
Go
Okay,
ahead,
come
go
on.
ahead.
I
I'm talking
agree, but I just want to let you know that the consistency is key because I've said previously, if my daughter decides that she want to do what the fuck she want to do, there's consequences that come along with that. You're not gonna be standing up into my crib doing what you want to do when you want to do it.
I understand that I understand both you and
I
Trill
don't
is gonna
give
say
a fuck
bye.
if it's a daughter.
Trill's only giving her 3 years. I got it. I know the repercussions. I'm simply saying I have a feeling that
No, I got what you're saying.
Anton and Trill, young as of today, the 13th of December, 2022, young underage daughters, when they become adults, we ain't gonna have to worry about hearing them. I would bet my farm that their daughters aren't gonna say, "Fuck you, Dad. I just want to sit here and watch YouTube all day." I just have a feeling that that's not gonna happen. And the reason that that's not gonna happen is because I have a feeling, and I haven't watched them or been in their house. I have a feeling that Trill and Anton is doing what I'm suggesting the rest of us need to do.
I have
to
daughters
make
too,
sure-
by the way, just so you know, Shane. I have 2 of them.
Okay, well, I'm speaking, but yeah, but we on the same sheet of music, so I'm kind of talking to the 2 guys that was kind of going against what I was saying. So I just have a feeling that that's going to be the case. That's what I wanted to say, JR. You can, go ahead, Ray.
Trill is chilling. He eating chips. He having a good time.
Yeah, well, she got 3 years. She got 3 years, so Trill ain't tripping. He got time. Some of y'all niggas is kicking motherfuckers out as soon as they turn 18.
Yo, my kid moved back in with me as an adult, and we was good. Everything was good. And then she wanted to do her own thing all over again. I'm like, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? But it's just what kids do. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. Kids are just going to be kids. That's it.